Hello, everyone. I apologize for my voice. I have a dry cough of some sort, so this may be a rough presentation. Today, I'm walking you through my experience in creating my first concept map, and honestly, it's been one of the most useful tools I've come across in this whole speech planning process. I'll talk about how I approach building it, how easy the Smart Art feature in PowerPoint made the whole thing, and why the process itself turned out to be just as valuable as the finished product. I'll be honest, when I first heard concept map, my brain immediately went to the whole science fair poster boards I hadn't thought about like since middle school. But sitting down to actually build one for my informative speech on AeroGarden hydroponic systems was a whole completely different experience. I started the same way I start most things. I just opened up a blank slide and stared at it for a minute. Then I reminded myself the whole point of a concept map is to get ideas out of your head and onto the page without worrying about whether they're perfectly structured yet. So I started in the center with my topic and let everything branch out from there. And of course, once I placed my central idea, which again is AeroGarden hydroponic systems, the major branches came out automatically, which is where I decided to focus on the background, the specific purpose, the thesis, my research sources, and the key benefits. And from each of those, the supporting details just started flowing. I realized I wasn't forcing an outline, I was thinking out loud on a slide. Now, let me talk about the tool itself for a second. PowerPoint Smart Art feature makes it so much more approachable than I expected. And it's very simple to get to. Just navigate to Insert, select Smart Art, choose a layout with the central focus, and you're already halfway there. The structure itself is basically built for you. All you have to do is just start filling it in. Excuse me. I must say, what I appreciated was the flexibility from adjusting colors, resizing branches, adding icons, and connecting related ideas with arrows. It doesn't lock you in. For someone who's not a graphic designer, Smart Art gives you a professional looking result without a steep learning curve. I was able to add subnotes, color code by category, and even drop in a couple of call out boxes for definitions and formulas. And honestly, it felt natural. But here's the part I really want to get into. The act of building the actual concept map genuinely helped me think through my speech in a way that just writing an outline never has, honestly, at least in my personal experience. First, it let me record ideas quickly without getting in my own way. When you're writing sentences, you slow down, you start editing as you go. A concept map removes that constraint. You're just dropping ideas as they come, which keeps the flow of thought moving. I guess it's the whole premise, of course. It also encouraged free association in a way I didn't expect. One idea led to another. For example, the 5 times faster growth node led me to think about nutrient delivery, which then reminded me of something I'd read about, water efficiency, which connected back to the research I had already gathered. Things I hadn't consciously planned on to include just surfaced naturally in the whole process. As I kept working through it, I did find myself pulling in previous learning and personal experiences that I hadn't thought to include when I was just staring at a blank outline. That's actually where some of the strongest supporting detail in my speech came from. The visual format also helped me spot relationships between ideas, not just a list of points, but actual connections. I could see that my research supported my thesis, that my thesis enabled my specific purpose, that year-round access was directly tied to the no outdoor space barrier many people face. Those cross connections make the speech feel organized in a way that a linear outline doesn't always show you up front. And finally, grouping things visually helped me organize without overthinking. For instance, the related ideas naturally cluster together by color and proximity, which made the structure of my speech clearer to me before I ever wrote the first word of the script. If you're someone who learns visually, and I'll be honest, I'm an extremely visual learner, or even if you don't think of yourself that way, I still genuinely encourage you to try the whole concept mapping before your next speech. It's not just a pretty diagram, although my perfectionism in me forced myself to make this as presentable as possible. This is more of a thinking tool. And for me, it turned what I felt like an overwhelming planning process into something manageable and even enjoyable. That's all I have, and thanks for listening.